has been some years since we had a Founders Day. And this is also the first time we are going to have the opportunity as a full middle school to participate in Let Your Life Speak, which is a series of presentations made by alums. Before we get started, we will share in a brief moment of silence as we do. So I did not have the pleasure of being at Sidwell Friends during the time that our amazing speaker was here. However, especially for those of you going to upper school soon, you should be getting to know Mr. Mamadou Gay, who is the upper school principal, and he will be doing our introduction today. So I'm going to turn things over to Mr. Mamadou Gay.
Thank you. Thank you, friends. Thank you. Good morning, everybody. I hope you're excited about this great day today. I am really, this is a privilege for me and a distinct honor to introduce to you Ms. Naabia Ofosu-Amaah, class of 2003. In fact, she entered Sidwell in '89, 34 years ago, pre-K, when I started teaching French here. And then when she came to the upper school, she was in my advisory, taking French with me for 4 years. So you can see the connection is deep. Naabia Ofosu-Amaah is Senior Corporate Engagement Advisor, Water and Resiliency at the Nature Conservancy, TNC it is called, based in Arlington, Virginia. Naabia focuses on developing and implementing the strategy for engaging companies and development finance institute, known as DFIs, to further NTC's water and resilient watershed goals. This includes research on property institutions, recommendations on industries, companies, and DFIs to target support of TNC's regional programs and development of tools and resources to empower Conservancy staff to continue to engage companies and DFIs in mainstreaming nature-based solution for water security and climate resilience in adaptation. Naabia also represents TNC in water-related industry initiatives, such as the Alliance for Water Stewardship, CEO Water Mandate, and Science-Based Targets Network Freshwater Methods. Naabia also serves as the relationship manager for a few TNC's relationships with key Fortune 500 companies. Naabia joined TNC in January of 2017 after 7 years at the Global Environment and Technology Foundation, known as GETF, also in Arlington, Virginia. At GETF, Naabia managed the Coca-Cola Company $60 million Replenish African initiative, called as, known in the acronym as RAIN, R-A-I-N, which delivered on its goal to provide 2 million people with water access by 2015. This included a short secondment of the Coca-Cola Africa Foundation in Johannesburg, South Africa. She also managed projects with the Global Development Alliance between the U.S. Agency for International Development and the Coca-Cola Company, the Water and Development Alliance, known as WADA, W-A-D-A, and engagements with other companies and social enterprises, including Diageo PLC and Water Health International. Ms. Ofosu-Amaah holds a master's in philosophy in environment, society, and development from the University of Cambridge and a bachelor degree with honors from Harvard University in environmental science and public policy. Thank you and welcome to your alma mater.
Okay, good morning everybody. It's nice to see you all here. Thank you so much for having me here. Thank you to Mamadou for that introduction. And I'm going to walk you through a presentation on my work today and a little bit of my time in middle school. So again, my name is Naabia Ofosu-Amaah. I'm a proud Sidwell lifer. I graduated in 2003, and that means I was in middle school from 1995 to 1999. The photo that you can see here is a haiku from my 6th grade poetry book in 1996, and I found this in a box of items that I kept from middle school. I was happy to see that I was already interested in water issues back then. Before I get into my presentation on water issues and environmental sustainability, I'd like to take a poll by show of hands. Don't worry, this is not a pop quiz, you're not going to be graded on it, but just a quick poll. And here's the question. Where does the water that you use in your home or here at school come from? So take some time to think about it and keep the image of your answer in your head. Okay, so first, I'm gonna have two options for you. Raise your hand if you thought of something man-made, like a tap, a sink, a shower, pipes or wells. I see some hands coming up. Water treatment facility, okay. And now raise your hand if you thought of something in nature, like a river, a stream. Excellent. Or an area of land where rain and snow falls and collects, also known as a watershed. Okay, so it seemed like it was maybe like 50-50. Some people thought about something man-made, some people thought about something in nature. You can see that illustrated here on this slide, which we talk about as being the journey of water or the water cycle. So on the left part of this slide, you can see the parts in nature. So a watershed, again, everybody lives in a watershed. It's a place where rain falls, snow falls. It collects and runs downhill and goes into a water body. And you can see the streams and lakes down there is the natural part. And then on the right-hand side, you can see the man-made part. So there are things like pipes, there are water treatment plants, things that get all the way to you, the customers, the homes, the businesses, the schools that need water as well. And then it's treated and goes back into the water bodies, and that's kind of what we call as the urban water cycle. And for us here in Washington, D.C., we get our water from the Potomac River, and this is a picture of the Potomac River watershed, which spans 4 states and the District of Columbia and serves 7 million people. So you can see like it goes all the way up into Pennsylvania, it goes into West Virginia. So when rain or snow falls anywhere in this area, it drains into the streams, which are the blue lines on the picture, and then it goes into reservoirs. So you may have seen the McMillan Reservoir, which is by Howard University, or the De La Carlia Reservoir, which is in Palisades. And there our water, that water is taken from Great Falls and Little Falls. So some of the water that's coming down those waterfalls is directed to these reservoirs. Then it's treated and it's transported to your homes, the businesses, the schools through underground pipes. So I hope all of that shows to you that both nature and people have to work really hard together to provide the water that you have here at school and at your home. I'm now going to play a short video from my organization, the Nature Conservancy, on where cities get their water from.
Cities and the economies that drive them are thirsty. Businesses and industries, recreation, waste removal, transport, lawn care, all of the sources of energy a city needs to run. Even the food industry that feeds its people all depend on water. Making sure there's enough reliable, clean water for the health and livelihoods of people and natural environments is what we mean by water security. And one of the biggest challenges we face now and in the future is securing water for all those needs. The two sources from which water can come are surface water and groundwater. Surface water starts as rain and makes its way downstream through larger and larger water bodies. Rivers and lakes collect surface water from their watershed, the surrounding uphill area. Groundwater trickles down through the soil and rocks, ending up in an underground reservoir called an aquifer. To tap into water sources, cities have different approaches. In Los Angeles, where there's not enough local water to support the U.S.'s second highest population, a massive system has been built over the years to draw surface water from all over the western U.S., as far as the Colorado River watershed, some 380 kilometers away. The Nature Conservancy estimates that the 100 largest cities in the world currently transfer 3.2 million cubic meters of water, a distance of 5,700 kilometers every day in artificial channels. That means roughly 43% of the water supply is obtained by interbasin transfer, or moving water from one watershed to another. But Mexico City, though it does plenty of interbasin transfer too, gets most of its water straight out of the aquifer, where it has been built up over thousands of years. The city taps into this limited water source with wells. Surface and groundwater have been supplying cities ever since cities came to be. So how unlikely is it that a city could ever run out of water? Unfortunately, it's not only possible, it's already happening.
Now, in its third year of drought, Cape Town is preparing for the day when it just might have no water at all.
In Los Angeles,
in southern Australia,
China, drought conditions,
one of the worst droughts in history.
So how does a city run out of water? Well, cities around the world are growing. 55% of the world's population already lives in cities, and that's expected to grow by 68% by 2050. Climate change is also affecting rainfall patterns, causing more severe and frequent droughts and storms. These patterns are not easy to change, but we can change practices, both in the cities themselves and upstream, that affect water supplies. And our best ally in making those changes, well, it just might be nature itself. Find out more about water security and tons of other topics at nature.org/naturelab.
Okay. So can you all imagine what you would do without water if we reached day zero here in DC like they almost did in Cape Town in 2018? How would you get ready for school in the morning? What clothes would you wear? What would you drink? What would you eat? Where would you go to the bathroom and wash your hands? Unfortunately, this is the reality for 26% of the global population who don't have water access. That's 2 billion people, including 1.5 million people right here in the United States, most of whom are Black, people of color, and Indigenous. These people around the world have to go outside their homes to get water, sometimes having to walk more than 30 minutes to find it, and sometimes taking untreated water directly from rivers and lakes. Most of the people that do this water collection are women and children, a lot of them your age, and that's time that these children could spend being in school, learning, playing, or growing. And as you heard in the video, climate change is also affecting these water issues and weather patterns, so that now sometimes we have too little water in times of drought or too much water when it floods or there are storms. And it's not just people that need water. Animal populations are also being affected by climate change and overuse of water by people. Populations of freshwater species like otters, river dolphins, fish, and frogs that you can see here have declined by 84% since 1970. So I'm getting a little sad telling you about all those facts. It's kind of depressing. Are you people feeling a little depressed by my presentation? It can sometimes be hard to find reasons to have hope when you hear about, all you hear about is bad news. Sometimes I feel a little bit like this. Yeah, that's me on a lot of days. But I've been working on water issues for the past 15 years, and while there is still a lot of work to do, I have seen some progress and reasons to have hope. I've worked along all different parts of that journey of water that I shared at the beginning. So at the point closest to people, my previous program helped 2 million people and then 6 million people across Africa get connections to water, sanitation, like toilets and hygiene, things like soap and hand washing stations, in their communities by 2020. You can see some of the photos of that work on this slide. And now I work at the point on the journey farthest away in watersheds, in places like Los Angeles, California, Mexico City, Cape Town, South Africa, that were mentioned in the video. These are some pictures of projects that I've directly been involved in through my work at the Nature Conservancy, or TNC. The vision of TNC is a world where the diversity of life thrives and people act to conserve nature for its own sake and its ability to fulfill our needs and enrich our lives. My work focuses on watershed protection and resilience, which means protecting areas where our water comes from and helping these areas adapt to climate change. We identify the most important areas where nature can help watersheds stay healthy, even if there are land use changes, like new buildings being constructed, or farms using a lot of water or fertilizer. Like in the photo on the right, you can see changes on the land can cause the river to get polluted or to dry up. So to help these watersheds stay healthy, we at TNC do things like planting trees and plants along riversides, protecting forests, managing wildfires, and creating wetlands that filter water, like the wetland that you all have here at the middle school. These activities also help in the fight against climate change by absorbing greenhouse gases and soaking up floodwaters, for example. TNC has over 400 freshwater projects globally, and my job is to help bring more partners to these projects and to convince them to think of these nature-based solutions as being just as important and mainstream for water management as pipes and treatment plants. Working for an organization like this that has such an inspiring vision gives me hope that it is possible to solve our water and climate change challenges. And I hope this also inspires you to think that this sort of hope starts with you. So as I've said, I have literally sat in the seats that you're sitting in right now. Here's me in 5th and 6th grade homerooms with Miss Denon and Miss Benson. And our 6th grade geography Africa unit was really life-changing for me, learning about all the countries on the continent of Africa, and I've now traveled to 16 of those countries for my work. It was also very validating for me as a kid whose parents are from Ghana in West Africa to see this region represented at school. And here's me in 7th grade on Team East, as it was called at the time, enjoying playing volleyball, basketball, running track, and I also started taking French at that time, which still helps me today in my work in Francophone countries. And finally, here I am in 8th grade, learning about environmental science in 7th and 8th grade with Miss Margaret, who I know is still here, and hi, Miss Margaret. And Dave Wood was also very important in my life, as was seeing rivers and rainforests on Minimester in Puerto Rico. Environmental science went on to be one of my favorite classes in upper school, and the way I saw the world and my place in it was changed doing stream surveys in Melvin Hazen and visiting the Blue Plains wastewater treatment plant. I will never forget going to Rock Creek to collect water samples with my late father, and that was really a critical moment for me for one of my Sidwell classes. And he and my mom would always say they were not at all surprised that I went on to study environmental science in college because my love for nature and interest in carrying forward Quaker values started at Sidwell. Some of the people that you saw in these photos from middle school are still some of my closest friends today. Some of them are here in the room in the back. And we've been there for each other through life's most important moments. And so much of who I am is because of Sidwell, which is truly an amazing gift. So I would like to close with 2 things you can do today to make a difference in the global water crisis, and 2 pieces of advice. So first, for the water crisis, take shorter showers, and turn off the tap while brushing your teeth. It's really a very simple thing that you can do. As I've shared with you today, it takes a lot of work for every drop of water to get to your tap. If you can find ways to use less of it each day, the watershed will really thank you. And then secondly, help watersheds stay healthy. There are some great organizations in the DC area, including TNC, but also the Anacostia Watershed Society, the Potomac and Rock Creek Conservancies, Nature Forward, and actually the city of DC has a River Smart Homes program. They monitor stream health, they manage plants that are sucking up too much water, so you can consider supporting them, volunteering with them if this issue is of interest to you. And if you ever travel, find out where that place's water comes from and ways that you can support the new watershed that you're in. And now on to my pieces of advice. So first, ask yourself each day, what can you as an individual do to leave a space better than you found it? That is the vision of the Kuumba Singers of Harvard College, which is the choir I sang in all 4 years that I was in college. The name of the choir is based on the Swahili word kuumba, which means to create. This is an active verb, and it focuses on being creative by taking your unique skills and sharing those with the world, even in the smallest way. Like being one voice in a chorus, being one raindrop that goes into a river, leaving something better behind. If more people can think about ways to positively contribute, it gives me hope for a brighter future. And finally, take time every day to pause, take a breath, and notice nature around you. I'm sure you all have felt how calming and refreshing it can be to be in nature. And this is something that I'm trying to instill in my 1-year-old and 3-year-old daughters, which gives me hope that you all, the next generation, will continue to carry hope forward every day. So as George Fox said, we do not own the earth. Walk gently upon it, so that future generations may do the same. I look forward to seeing how each of you walk gently upon the earth, let your life speak, and carry hope forward throughout your lives. Thank you so much.